Hello guys and gals, and welcome back to that time of the month, shitpostas. Yes, I know I probably missed the air date for the February section, but I was a little busy, but I'm going to make up for February's month right now. And this time I got two special creepypastas here. I got Hell's Pasture, which is a Harvest Moon creepypasta, and then I got a Minecraft creepypasta, the second creepypasta that we've ever done for a Minecraft, for the game. The first one was Herobrine, which we looked at it, and, you know, here we have a shitpasta called I don't think this is Minecraft anymore, so, you know, hold on to your seats and join the awesome world of shitpastas. So let's begin with the first one, Hell's Pasture.
Since I was a young boy, I always wanted to own a farm. The lifestyle appealed to me. With a few seeds, you can support yourself and provide food for you and your family. You were close to animals, and generally, you were in a small community. I loved the idea, so at the age of 11, after getting my first GameCube, I ventured to Walmart and took a look in the bargain bin for something to fulfill my fantasy. Lo and behold, I found it in the form of Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life. It was the last copy and I had my last $25, which, as it was just enough. My only real complaint was that the game appeared to have been open slightly, but my dream would somewhat come true. I had my farm in my hands. Eager to start, I sat down to play. Everything started as normal, Takakura narrating while I watched the game unfold. I entered in all the names I had planned since I was little. For the farm, I chose to name North Farm. I chose the pointy-eared dog and named him Kitsune, thinking A, that he resembled a fox, and B, that it could be affectionately shortened to Kit. Hating my own name, I chose to enter Damien as my own name. I started off with some seeds and a cow, and a few tools, and dived right into the game. I took great care of my animals as the farm grew, making sure they were all happy and healthy, like I would have as if they were my own real-life pets. I'd place orders for food and tools and spend whatever time away from the farm either fishing, helping out with the fossil digger, or tending to woo Celia. I was successful and eventually married. Eventually I would go on automatic, placing the orders and forgetting about them. So when Takakura showed up one day with a new star cow that I had ordered, I was slightly confused. I couldn't remember ordering another cow, but I took her in happily, wondering if, if she was a gift or just a glitch, or perhaps just another order I forgot I'd made. I gave her the name Mumu, yes, that's how it's spelled, and treated her no different than the other animals that I had at the time, and she eventually paid for herself. I was receiving the highest quality star milk, and it sold for a small fortune. Eventually, though, I outgrew my childhood fantasy, and saved the game for the last time, shutting off the cube and instead putting in hours on the new Xbox 360. The GameCube went unforgotten, collecting dust for years. Eventually, I got bored with achievement hoarding and started browsing my old collection. I smiled fondly when I pulled out my old copy of Harvest Moon. Thinking nothing of it, I cleaned off the console as best as I could and popped that sucker in. A warning light went off in my head when the title screen appeared. It was the same Forget-Me-Not Village, the same logo, the same press start screen, but it was the music that got me first. The music was slow and slightly distorted and clicked every now and again. I thought nothing of it, perhaps it was just my imagination. I pressed start and loaded my old file. Everything seemed as I had left it all those years ago. North Farm, Kitsune, Damien. I played as if nothing was wrong, putting feet in the boxes and doing whatever needed to be done. The second warning light came on when I ventured through the town. It seemed less lively than it used to. It wasn't until after I had played for a while that I realized that it seemed less lively, because they were missing. Half the population was gone. I decided to investigate. The few people I talked to gave me disappointed looks, gave no sound. All that read was ellipses, but nothing else. No hint, no clue, no nothing. I returned to my farm. Why had all this change come about? I checked my chicken coop, and the sight of it turned my stomach. It was all graphics, yes, but I'll never rid the image from my mind. There was blood on the walls and feathers strewn about. My crops were all dead. I checked my house, my family wasn't there. In the stable and pasture, there were no animals, save for my horse, dog, and my cow, Mumu. I didn't get it. What had happened? I paused the game and checked game facts, but nothing like this was written here. I swallowed and unpaused the game. Welcome back, Damien, came a text box. My heart rate increased as I read that phrase. Just who was it that was welcoming me back? I bit my lip and watched the screen, terrified as a speaker was brought to my attention. I was outside my house, my horse Rapide beside me, and my dog in front, barking in my defense. Mumu slowly walked to me. Do you like what I've done with the place while you were gone? In my horror, the camera panned about. My precious North Farm had gone up in flames. What was happening? The game gave me control again, and I did the only thing I could think of. I hopped on her Payday and rode away. Leaving behind my dog, I could hear the sound of a dog whimpering, bone and marrow crunching, and a swallowing noise followed by a happy cow noise. I had no idea where to go. The hotel? No, too close. The dig site? I'd be concerned. I thought quickly. Where could I go that this beast wouldn't find me? I made a beeline for the twins' house. Cows couldn't climb ladders. Haha. Unfortunately, neither could my horse. So I left for Payday for the mercy of the cow and climbed up to the house. I could hear the sound of an angry horse and an angry cow fighting, followed by the death cry of my beloved Repayday. There was more munching, more of that horrid noise. The screen went dark, then another text box popped up. Milk me, yes or no? Confused by this, I chose a no option. The text box appeared again. Milk me, yes or no? This repeated 4 times. The game wouldn't proceed until I milked Moo, so I gave in. I checked the milk I'd received, and I was shocked at what I got. I'm speaking out of tone of the creepypasta. What you're about to hear will probably give you a heart attack. In my inventory were 5 blood milk. The description read, special milk from Moo. It appears thick and red, but full of vitamins, so it sells for 0 gold, 0 G. I came to you because nobody wanted me. You cared for your animals. I wanted to be loved and cared too. Was that so wrong? Yes or no? My eyes were misting now. It was pitiable. I chose a no option. I was mentally 11 again. You cared for us. You cared for me. I wanted to pay you back, so I made the best milk I ever could. My mouth hung open as I realized what was happening. But you never came back. I got hungry, she said. The screen faded in, and I was outside the house and talking to Moo. I pressed all the buttons in panic, reset power, I opened the cover, nothing happened, and the scene just kept going. You abandoned us. Why did you do it? Were we not good enough for you? My heart sank. No, that's not it at all, I sobbed, trying to reconcile for what I'd done. I loved you all. You abandoned us. You abandoned me. Moo's eyes glowed a demonic red, and she bellowed. You left us to starve and die. You killed them, not me. You're to blame. She screamed, and a high, mournful sound emitted the TV speakers, a sound that hell itself could not replicate. Moo's mouth opened up, revealing all she had devoured, her teeth soaked in blood, feathers sticking to them, cow guts and internal workings all over her tongue. And her most recent victims, my dog's head impaled on her tooth, and my horse, with a section of stomach missing, revealed his ribs in a hollow corpse. I looked away for fear of vomiting. I'm still hungry, she roared. I gasped as control was handed to me for a brief moment, and I opened the rucksack, quickly choosing my sickle. At the last moment I tapped the A button, and when it said use, what happened next was a cinematic that I wasn't entirely surprised about. Damien raised his sickle and, shedding a tear, sliced at Moo, slitting her throat and killing her. I took a moment to gather myself and find out what the sweet holy hell had just happened. A new scene had started. I was inside Romaina's manor, and all the people from the village were there. Celia came and explained to me. We all hid here, in Romaina's basement. We're so glad you're safe. Moo, is she... Damien nodded and looked down sadly. Celia hugged him tight, and Damien returned the hug. And he pulled away smiling. The townsfolk cheered, and all was well. I sighed with relief, realizing the breath I had been holding and chuckling dumbly to myself. It was over. Or so I thought. The game froze. The sound became a mix of white noise and distorted music. Perplexed, I looked to the console and hit reset. The console started fuming, and I looked at the screen. Game over. In memoriam. I watched hopelessly as the names of my animals and some townfolk came onto the screen on this victims list. After the last name, the screen read once again, game over. Underneath was a picture of Damien lying in a pool of, shockingly, blood, a bite taken out of his neck, a foot missing, bone and sinew all over. There was a hole where his heart should have been, and organs were leaking out of the hole in his stomach. I felt like I was going to be sick. Then the screen began flashing and I seized. I woke up in my mom's arms, sobbing hard. She looked at me sternly. What happened? My neck hurt and my arms felt heavy. I lifted my arms and my jaw dropped in terror. Don't forget me, don't forget me, don't forget me were carved in. The words were still scarred on my body. Since then I have not touched a glass of milk.
wore any leather. I destroyed the disc and burned the pieces, erased my save game, all those hours gone. I wrote this to let you know that nostalgia should be just a memory. But if you must, please, please, for the love of God and all that is holy and sacred, erase all your data before starting up again, because you never know who you may have left behind. Sometimes I can still hear faint screams and smell fresh blood in the air. It was just a normal day, just me sitting at my computer, more bored than I ever would be. I'd always go on YouTube and watch Minecraft videos, so today I decided to get it myself. My parents would always complain about me being on the computer all the time, so I knew that any attempts to get Minecraft through them would be in vain. Not knowing of any friends who played it, I had only one plausible method of obtaining the game: the internet. So I opened up Chrome and searched for it. There were a ton of links to pretty legit websites on the first couple pages, but they always led me having to do some stupid survey. I searched everywhere for a way around, but I had no luck. Being the absurdly hard-headed person I am, thanks a lot, Dad, I kept searching farther and farther until I decided to just skip to the last page. Bad idea number 1. The search result only said download Minecraft here. No text under it, no URL, just a link to the site. In desperation, I clicked on it. Bad idea number 2. Once the page was fully loaded, all I saw were words that said click to download. I felt a little weary about proceeding, but I didn't care that much, thinking nothing could possibly go wrong. Bad idea number 3. Once the page loaded, I was greeted by the phrase, "Est no red." Assuming it was in Latin, okay, I hopped onto Google Translate. Finding it meant, "There is no reserve." I checked for alternate wordings, discovering that return could be swapped with reserve. Slightly shaken, I scrolled down the page. All I saw was black. Just black. Nothing else. The page went on forever, till I finally hit the bottom. In big, bold, red letters read the words Domine Ludi Instituo, which roughly translated to "Let the games begin." At this point I was so freaked out, I was practically shaking. I was completely unable to go back to the previous page. I tried closing out and reopening Chrome, but the page would still appear in exactly the same fashion, just like where I left it. Even opening Internet Explorer didn't make the page go away. I eventually had to resort to restarting the computer. When I started the computer, all the browsers were working normally, but there was a new icon on the desktop. It was Minecraft! I felt elated, yet very suspicious about the new download. The first problem was in the icon itself. The usual dirt block used as the icon was turned upside down. I didn't think much of it. But I decided to open it anyways. I didn't go through all that trouble for nothing. Little did I know, I was about to get into even more trouble. When I started the game, it looked pretty normal to me. I decided to just create some random world to get a hang of things. When the world's finished loading, I was shown a black screen. Then in bold white letters, the game said, "That was the easy part of the challenge. Let's see if you could do something more difficult. If you can stay alive long enough." I was a little put off by the text, but I went on and played. In the very beginning there was a torrential downpour. It was nighttime to boot. In front of me was a sign that read, "Good luck, you'll need it." Beside the sign there was a chest. The chest was full of stacks of raw beef and rotten flesh, but in the middle there was a stack of diamond blocks and a note. The note read, "You must trudge through hell to find solace in heaven." I had absolutely no idea what the note was about, but I had a feeling that this was not going to be pretty. The rain still poured, but I noticed something was different. The grass had little red dots randomly spattered all over them. I knew it couldn't be redstone, but what could it be? The rain never stopped, not even a real-life half-hour later. I can say the same thing about nighttime. It was dinner time, so I had to get a bit of a break from the crazy game, but when I resumed, the game really started freaking me out. The sky turned a pure white, and the rain turned red. My character was stuck in a position looking upwards, and when I moved forward, I fell down an extremely deep pit until I landed in some sort of dungeon. Inside there were multiple large rooms. In each room there were some sort of torture devices. There were also people in the rooms. They looked a little more human-like than the original Minecraft characters. I walked up to one of the rooms to get a better glimpse of one of the prisoners. He was completely skinned from head to toe. He was bound to the back wall by chains, and on that wall in between the chains was a saw. I heard him growl, "You're next," before the chain started retracting and the saw blade started to spin. As the prisoner was cut in half, his body parts were collected on top of the pressure plate. Once the pressure plate was activated, the wall of stone dropped in front of me, preventing me from viewing the gruesome scene anymore. When I turned around, a set of pistons transported me to a door at the end of the hallway. Upon opening the door, I was greeted by a huge lava pit. Around the edges stood even more prisoners, packed to the brim. As I turned to face one beside me, he appeared to be melting.
All kinds of blood splattered on the screen, until the whole screen was slathered in red and everything went silent. As the game and the sound faded back in, I found that the other prisoners and I were in a lava pit. I couldn't move. I couldn't even avert my eyes. I was staring at a golden cross, crucifying one of the prisoners. In my field of vision, I could see other prisoners struggling to reach him, but I wasn't sure if they were trying to save him or finish him off. They all died whenever they got close. I attempted to move forward, but as I did, Minecraft and my computer crashed on the spot, but the prisoners' screams were still loud and clear. Sometimes I can still hear faint screams and smell fresh blood in the air.
Well, 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 here we are again. That time of the month. Again, which one is the better one? Well, for one, they both have a lot of dismemberment, and, well, let's be honest. Let's not be total assholes, these are shitpostas, but, you know, let's start with Hell's Pasture. And my oh my, well, it was like Pokemon Deck Channel if you were there for a while back when I did that one. And with the lack of attention given, you know, to the game and the deteriorated world, except now it was Moo Moo with blood milk. Fucking blood... Whatever, you know. You probably heard me in both the VOs and you heard some laughter and disappointment. Yeah, it happens when you read these. But moving on, you'll see an unnecessary amount of gore and whatnot to the point where it's not even worth reading. It just kills the mood. But the fucking best part was waking up with Mom there and her not noticing the words carved into the hand. You know, which if you missed the picture, here it is. Are you convinced? You know, this is real? No, yeah, that's the general consensus. And then we end up with, you know, the common phrase, delete all your shit. That's what we get. That's great. I mean, you know, let's see what it can do. Quit the excessive gore, you know, and I mean, the build-up is there, but it needs to be a little more structured and go towards not being, you know, showing you the color red or just pure death all the time. Now, next one is, I don't think this is Minecraft anymore. And my god, well, first off, the bad idea section, you know, where he's listing out the ideas, made me almost die. It's like when you were a kid and you were told not to do anything bad, then you get this band that you put on your, you know, wrist and snap whenever you were about to be bad. This kid's fucking arm must have wrote it off, because when you get these bad ideas and you choose to just stick with it through the whole affair, you know, I mean, you do think about it, but you just stick with it, it's just wow. And then you get the Latin phrases, which I think this kid was just being on point for that instantly was just a little, you know, weird as always. And then, you know, you look up translations, and, I mean, I looked them up, and one was right, but Domine Ludi Instituo, which, if I'm mispronouncing it, I apologize, I don't speak Latin, translates to, oh, play the implant. Mind you, I use Google Translate for it, so it may not be entirely accurate, or even accurate at all, but I doubt this kid's translation is accurate either. Then you end up with the melting, and hell, and the slathered red screens, and the prisoners, which, you know, the prisoners, I feel as though that could have been more expanded, but it wasn't. Now, at the end of the day, I'd give the edge to Hell's Pasture, but not by much. In the end, which one do you think is better, and what would you change, you know, to make these better creepypastas? This has been another episode of Shitpastas, and if you like what you saw, then like, comment, and subscribe. This is me, Mudahar, and I am out.